Welcome to Brainstorm MTG. I'm ELD, and this is Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. We have Death and Taxes versus Sneak and Show, a matchup that has been very important in Legacy for quite some time. Death and Taxes tends to be very well positioned versus Sneak and Show with lots of answers to what Sneak and Show is attempting to do, going after the mana base with cards like Thalia, Wasteland, and Rishadan Port. And also going after the big creatures with cards like Caracas and Swords to Plowshares, Palace Jailer. There's a lot of ways that Death and Taxes can punish Sneak and Show, and it can also set a reasonable clock with cards like Stoneforge Mystic, along with some equipment. So let's see what happens here. Death and Taxes does have all the answers, but we'll see what questions Dan asks. With the objectively more powerful list. Dan has brainstormed here on the first turn, thinking through Thalia and Mother of Runes. Cavern of Souls is going to make many of Ben's threats uncounterable, most likely all of the humans. And it looks like this is a bit more of a Maverick build. Is that a freebooter there? I believe it is. We're going to see some discard impact here. This may be more of a humans list than Death and Taxes. Very spicy. And Show and Tell being nabbed. It's going to be difficult to get that back with Mother of Runes on board. We did see Dan has all of the goods otherwise. Can he get enough mana on board to make this happen? He's got Omniscience, Emrakul, all sorts of stuff. Sneak Attack. Now Sneak Attack a likely way forward. Unless Ben can get down a Caracas. Sneak Attack out is most likely scenario. And Thalia's Lieutenant. Kind of surprised I know what that card does. Actually, I know the card's name. I'm not 100% positive on what it does. I believe it gives +1/+1 counters to humans when humans enter the battlefield. So Thalia and Freebooter turning sideways. Mother of Runes staying home. Dan, 4 mana. Not enough to cast Sneak Attack yet, thanks to Thalia. Getting pretty close to lethal with just a couple of more humans. Let's see how this plays out. Happy to see that this is not quite your traditional Death and Taxes here. This Black Splash. Oars of Pontiff. Checking, I think he's actually reading it to see if it's a human. I'm not sure either. I believe it is. We're going to get +2/+2. Essentially to all these guys. We're going to get counters on all of these creatures. One more turn for Dan. What can he do? Even Sneak Attack into Emrakul. Not going to be enough. All he can do is get down the Sneak Attack. Fetching down to just 1. Now if he has Show and Tell, he may be able to pay 4 mana for that, leaving a red open. But even that doesn't seem like it'll be enough. Looks like Ben gonna have enough permanents to keep around. Ooh, City of Traders. Now Show and Tell could be very good. Lotus Petal gonna cost 1 more thanks to Thalia. Sneak Attack. 1 mana. All the difference in the world here. Emrakul swinging. If he had 1 more red mana, he would have been able to put in Gristlebrand as well. Orzhov Pontiff being sacrificed. Going to pull up the exact text on that one. When it comes into play, or the creature it haunts, you get creatures you control get +1/+1, or creatures you get -1/-1. So it's kind of a zealous persecution. It does haunt, and Dan being at just 1 life there, unable to survive, so close, so very close. I wonder if there was any point in time where he could have cast a Lotus Petal earlier. An incredibly close situation there, just 1 mana off. Been able to hold on thanks to Thalia. She really made all the difference in the world there. Death and Taxes traditionally favored. We'll see what the Black Splash gives access to. Perhaps cards like Thoughtseize. Freebooter is a very interesting addition. A deck like Death and Taxes is not going to be happy about trying to remove a card like Freebooter to get that card back. Usually you're going to have other more disruptive creatures, cards like Thalia. Let's see how this goes with Dan on the play. He's going to go ahead and throw that back. Death and Taxes dangerous enough that Dan's going to look for a really quality hand, especially being down a game. It'll be interesting to see how this matchup's kind of percentages change post London Mulligan, which we'll be getting very soon. Just a month away here. We have the final ELD Legacy Open using the Vancouver Mulligan coming up this Saturday, June 15th. That is an Eternal Weekend trial if you're in the area. I'd love to have you down. Ben opening up on a Noble Hierarch. So this is very humans. Even farther from Death and Taxes than I initially realized. Looked like it was some type of Black Splash. But this is full on Maverick, I suppose. City of Traders into Show and Tell on turn 2. That is how you draw it up. Let's see what he can put in. What type of tricks, if any, does Ben have for this situation? There are a lot of spicy cards you can put in. All right, Ben, the suspense is killing us. Let's see what you got. It's a Phantasmal Image in hand. That is not going to work out. Phantasmal Image not going to be able to copy Emrakul. Thalia versus Emrakul. Now he can cast Phantasmal Image and get a copy of Emrakul, but he does not have enough permanence where that's going to work out particularly well, and that is going to be the game there. Dan showing exactly what Sneak and Show is capable of doing on a kind of underwhelming Mulligan situation. I mean, that's not the best it has to offer, but it's good enough sometimes. Show and Tell Emrakul probably, realistically, plan D. If you really think about it, you know, the best case scenario, you're putting in Omniscience and then casting Gristlebrand and Emrakul. You've got Sneak Attack for the combo kill as well. Show and Tell Gristlebrand might even be better than Show and Tell Emrakul. It's a tough one. Like, that's That's probably the worst that Sneak and Show does when it does anything. I mean, sometimes it totally flounders. But yeah, just Show and Tell Emrakul seems super powerful. But there's so many different things that actually answer that in this format. Ben having a Edict effect or a Karakas. I mean, there's so many different things that can handle Emrakul and leave you just down cards. So Dan leading out here with Ponder. Horizon Canopy on the other side. We now have a whole new cycle of these Canopy lands from Modern Horizons. We'll see how those start to impact formats. Meddling Mage, and that is going to get Force-a-Willed, pitching what looks like Arcane Artisan. And are we going to see another Show and Tell early? Here we go. Emrakul again, Freebooter. Shows Sneak Attack and Brainstorm. Can he answer the Emrakul? He has 6 permanents. Just enough to completely get wiped out by the Annihilator trigger. Mother of Runes. Freebooter. Taking the Brainstorm. So going to be able to be left with just 1 mana. Emrakul trigger. And actually choosing to block, giving himself 2 draws toward Karakas now. And Ben packing it in. No Karakas to be found, so Show and Tell Emrakul gets there. Back-to-back games for Dan.